not be initiated by a patient. There would be entities that would be initiated by a patient to share that information. My concern and question for you is, it is national practice that if information is shared about a patient, that is disclosed to a patient, whether through an initial consent form. My question is, can the patient revoke that their information, not their genetic information, not shared?
And Madam Chairman, Senator Page, that would have to be done at the physician's office, and that's one of the issues that we're trying to address, is that we don't have that face-to-face relationship at the lab with the patient. We are relying on the physician to obtain that consent. So in many of these cases, what we're trying to do with this bill is remove an administrative burden, and it's a growing burden there. When we don't have the authority to share certain information, we always have to go back to the provider's office. We then have to go back to the patient. But there is an initial consent that is done between the physician and the patient, and the patient can always refuse to consent to share that information.
Madam Chairman.
Senator Pace.
So the purpose and attempt of this bill is to allow you to have a reduced administrative burden so that you don't have to go to the physician and double check that the patient has given consent for this to be shared.
Madam Chair, Senator Pace, the physician should have a consent form. We provide a model form, but we don't know what every single provider is providing in their office. But when they obtain consent, they're obtaining it to share that information with all the entities. I'm sorry, I lost the question.
Yeah, so Madam Chair,
Senator Pace.
to clarify, it is this, you are able to share all the information so long as you get permission from the patient currently under statute, that the patient can share their information to whoever they want.
Right.
This would just allow you to go around having to double check with the patient.
Well, Madam Chair, the provider would still have to obtain that initial consent from the patient.
But Madam Chair,
Senator
but
Pace.
you wouldn't have to check with the provider.
Correct. We don't always get all of those consent forms.
Madam Chair, may I ask a question, and maybe to that point?
To that point, Senator Carter.
So, to that point, and Jason, you can either expand on this, or Senator Pace, maybe if this is what the question is, because this came up, this is a bill that ran last year, maybe you can highlight where it's the same, where it's different, what adjustments we've made related to last year's. The issue is that when we drafted statutes, technology has leapfrogged our statutory language, and so what we're trying to do is clean up that statutory language. And so the challenge becomes, because the way the statute is drafted, we have to allow entities that are under different umbrellas that would transmit information if a patient was in a hospital setting, for example, and they needed that information. This is just breaking down the barriers to allow you to better serve the individual related to this information in a more timely manner.
I agree, but again, Madam Chair, members, well, there are a number of entities now that we do more business, more interaction with on a day-to-day business, and when we don't have the consent, we're having to go back always and get the consent. It's a burden for the patient, it's a burden for that patient's provider to always stop what they're doing and go through back over these consent forms when they give an initial consent for all the other entities.
So, and to Mr. Bezos' point, and to Senator Pace's question, so just as a dialogue, if you've given your consent, because it is a proactive position to take. You give consent. A case could be made if you are unconscious, in need of critical care, that going through these checks would delay care. And so what we're trying to do is make sure that if consent has been given, there are no roadblocks into receiving the care based upon that consent. Does that make sense?
Jason.
I'm not sure if the genetic tests, though, are fine in some of the cases that you're referring to that need for having that information right at your fingertips. Most of this is being done really to remove the administrative burden.
Senator Allen, to that point.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairman. And when we were talking in our office, I still am trying to get around what this is. Because I sign all these consent forms when I go to whatever I'm doing medically. I have to sign all the HIPPA forms, whether I'm going to allow my information to be shared. All right. Okay, so that's done. So why is there a problem now in the genetic testing in the lab unless already it's established that that genetic testing in the lab is not to be shared except back to the doctor and the patient normally, right? So we're trying to say that we're changing the part that says that you can't share that information with X, Y, and Z without going back through the patient. Because the way it's set up now, apparently, even with that consent that's been given, you're blocked up here by who you share that information with. Is that the issue? It's who you can share the information with.
Madam Chair.
Jason.
Senator, I think if we didn't have this, we would have to make the consent form that much longer in every physician office when you went in. I think it's more information that people are just going to glaze over and sign. But today we can't share that information because of the state statute. So I'm hoping I'm understanding your question.
Well, Madam Chairman,
Senator Allen.
I'm trying to get to the point of, in the system where I have to sign all these papers, why there's still a problem. If I'm signing the paper, share my information, okay? I mean, I'm signing all those forms. And so apparently those forms, though, have restricted who gets the information.
It's the, Madam Chair, it's the state statute that restricts that today.
The state statute restricts who gets the information. So if you're going to change the state statute, then all the forms need to be changed to say, no, but if on any of your testing, that these labs can share it with X, Y, and Z. And so then I would say, if you're going to change the state statute, you're going to have to change the forms. So I, as the patient, understand who all is going to get to see my information that's not on the list today.
Jason.
Madam Chair, Senator Allen, I agree, and that's something we can do in a model consent form that we make available, and if you want to add that to the bill, we'd be open to that as well.
Madam Chair.
Senator Pace.
So, to clarify and to that point, in the statute, you are wanting to have us allow you to share that information and not have to put this on a consent form because that would be too long, is what you were saying? You say, I guess my concern here is if a patient writes out and says, if on a consent form, a physician would offer or a lab company would offer, would say, your information will be shared in the following ways, X, 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 it says how it is. If we put it in statute that you can share it with these people, and the doctor does not display that on his, or the lab company doesn't necessarily display on that, you still have statute ability to do it, because as you're telling us, you're not going back and checking that paperwork for the doctor anyways. And in the fact of a lab, when a patient gets a blood drawn from their doctor, they're assuming that that information will be shared with them and their doctor, and there would have to be significant disclosure to the patient that that information could be shared to a licensing board or a nationally recognized accreditation, that a patient would have no idea who that's going to. Couldn't this be easily solved by just having SnorQuest and other lab companies have a consent form?
And respectfully, Mr. Bezzoso, it sounds like there are more questions than answers. And I think that those conversations and a potential amendment. So my preference, not intending to give you heartburn, but I think I'm going to go ahead and hold the bill. And then we're going to go back and regroup and make sure that those individuals who are not in the room are filled in and get their questions answered. I'm just hearing too many concerns going forward. I will tell you that the very first stakeholder meeting I sat in 2015 take extreme care, so that, and I think we can get these questions answered and a potential additional amendment. So would that be okay? Respectfully, I'm going to go ahead and hold the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Appreciate your time and thank you for waiting. Let's proceed then to 1337, medical labs.
So that was about HIPAA-like statute. I guess Arizona has their own. So HIPAA is federal. And it's funny, I randomly walked in there. So it's like, okay. I'm doing an audit of the state senate of Arizona. I went live because I thought it was hilarious that they were talking about HIPAA. So I'm gonna have to cut loose in a minute here because there was a light rail accident down the street. This is where that policy is made by these people. The cops are basically their minions. So the people in this building make a lot of the policies that end up with people dead. So the majority caucus.
So, just a quick, easy question for you. What are your feelings about all the new construction stuff here? Is going there?
Yeah, I was gonna lurk for a while. Cool. So yeah, this is where that policy is created. It starts off in these hearings, subcommittee hearings.
Until 1:30.
So Democratic caucus, because we know who the majority is in Arizona, the GOP. So they each have their own caucuses where they go in and meet. And here's the big one.
Cam will speak. Do you want to?
I don't know the provisions like that.
So DPS is the security for.
Intent that the state and pursuant,
I know
was
why,
able to require something.
I know why we need to do that. She's running right now. She's running right now.
I'll do that at the main DPS. Try not to get kicked out on my first day. I'm gonna propose a bill here in Arizona to mimic the bill, which used to be House Bill, I think 1520 maybe. The one in Colorado on a recording. I try to mirror it here in Arizona. So I figured I'd come pay a visit since I haven't been in here yet. So, and like I said, this is where your policy's made. I didn't really see any, and it's open to the public. So these are kids, so I'm not gonna record them, but
Guys, pick the door for the next person.
yeah.
I haven't quite got that yet, thank you.
Well, I'm not done filming, so. Yeah, technically I don't. It's just etiquette. I try to practice the best etiquette that I can. Obviously, in a public space, you have no expectation of privacy. People need to know that and understand that they don't have expectation of privacy. So you can have etiquette, but it shouldn't be forced down your throat. So yeah, I'm gonna get to a news incident, then I'm gonna bounce from this area. I just wanted to check out some things, because like I said, I've never been here. Maybe I'll go into the state capitol real quick. Yeah. So, okay, cool. Awesome. So I guess there's a museum here. So this is the state capitol. It's backwards. Weird. Hey, what's up? So I'm in the state capitol right now. So I only went live because HIPPA. I thought it was funny that I randomly went in and they were talking about HIPPA related law. And I joke around about it so often. I used to work in healthcare, so I know all about the HIPAA health insurance, I think Portability Protection Act. It's been a while. I think most healthcare employees have to get trained in HIPAA every couple years. So there's a Starbucks here in the Capitol. I've never been here. Obviously, it houses the governor and other state officials. So, okay. Interesting. So this is addition to the building. Legislative Council, Suite 100. It's around lunchtime, so. So the West Wing. And it looks like TSA security cell check over here. What's that? It's a public building, so I can record where I want.
We just asked for the safety of the building, sir.
So, yep. And she's on the phone, so I'm not gonna go through today. Actually gonna come back, so. AA, if you're watching, we need to come back and do this building, so. Oh yeah? No, I didn't get my HIPAA violated, so. I'm gonna wait around. I'm not gonna go past the security, but just gonna see. DPS, I guess, is the agency that is in charge of security around here. There's 2 entrances, and it looks like there's more building to each side, so. And it's a public building, public access, so. So it looks like there's office space to the north and then office space to the south, so. You're a public official, you don't have that choice. It doesn't matter. You walk towards me. Did you call someone? Am I waiting for someone, or can I go? Excuse me. Because if she called someone, I'll wait. Yeah, I got other stuff to do, so I'm never been in here before, so not gonna press this one unless if they make a big deal out of it. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes at the security checkpoint and see if anyone comes. So check this out. Employees don't have to be screened. Say if an employee goes suicidal, they're able to go through without any screening. And we've seen it before where different state employees go insane and act out in violence, so there's a security loophole right here. And they do it for convenience. So it's okay for the public to be inconvenienced, but it's wrong for the employees and legislators to be inconvenienced. So this is a big security loophole. You know I'm exposing your security loophole. So if you have a state employee badge, you can probably walk right through this without being screened. So. It's like Tempe City Council. I know they probably know, it's a little bit smaller place, but here, anyone with a employee badge, which it's easy to make badges these days, so. Or say a former employee, they can waltz right through without getting screened. So.
Smells really good out there. Something for that state trooper.
Where?
On the lawn out there, the Robbins is out there. It's at the state troopers association.
I ask her name and batch number, then I'm gonna leave.
What is it? These are Robbins.
You got your lunch? You already got it. Yeah, it just smells so good right now.
Okay, we get it.
Just smells good. I just walked around.
Excuse me. Am I waiting on anyone to come or am I free to go? Okay, what's your name and badge number? You're supposed to verbalize it as a public. You're supposed to verbalize it. Can you turn around real quick so I can take a picture of it? Okay, she's failing to identify. So. Thank you for causing your department to fail. Have a good day. I'm gonna come back because she's gonna make a giant stink about it. Take my camera. Not right now. I'm solo, so you do certain things. I gotta be in Idaho in a week. I can't push it. Otherwise, I'd go to jail, so. I'll go upstairs in a minute. Plus, I got important business to attend to. So that's the thing. You gotta pick and choose your battles. So I imagine that's where all the offices are, and this is just so. This is mostly a museum over on this side. I'm gonna go upstairs real quick. So there's a elevator here for ADA compliance. So Department of Public Safety, they're actually police officers. They're the security for the state of Arizona at their Capitol buildings. Just FYI. So I guess it's multiple floors. So looks like most of it's a museum. So okay. I don't know if they kept the same writing. So I don't see any controlled access, but so this is IT, I'm assuming. So yeah, AA, we got some work to do. So museum administration. So I think this is old writing. So I'm gonna cut this out. I'll come back. So gonna go downstairs and I'm gonna come back. So okay, cool. Yeah, it's gonna be a problem. I can already tell it's not just gonna be today, because no one's visited them yet. So looks like they're doing a field trip. So we'll go pay everyone a visit. So yeah, I'm gonna sign out of this. Hope you all have a great day. Actually, you might see me later, but yeah. So we got some work to do here. Obviously, they're failing in security by letting employees go through without getting screened. So that concludes my audit here of the state, my pre-audit of the state legislative buildings. So we're gonna have to come do the Capitol building on another day, the West Wing. So anyways, signing out.